WandaVision, 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 pa 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 pa, WandaVision. All these catchy theme songs. Not today. Today we're getting a totally different episode, and I'm sorry, I'm totally surprised. Let's talk about what this episode is doing without going into spoilers yet. Hi fellow Disney Plus watchers, this is Thoughts After Disney Plus Watch, where we review everything new Disney Plus coming out, and I'm glad you're watching. It's so important that if you haven't seen the episode yet, you stay away from as much WandaVision related videos and topics. Today a whole lot more has been revealed. It's 400% more than you would imagine, not joking. Last week I had a theory about what is ultimately going on, but I was dead wrong. I'm putting in a link in the description, or something is popping up in the right where you can click on it. In the second half of that video I explain what I think is ultimately the goal of this created reality. I couldn't be more wrong about what I said there, I think. Episode 4 is bold, it's brave, because one of the biggest parts of the mystery has been revealed and explored. A lot of hints in the previous 3 chapters are totally explained and explored. This is the episode for all the impatient watchers who didn't like the sitcom episodes. It's literally made for them, it feels, because I think this episode could have been placed some episodes further in the show. It might have been even more satisfying if the creators chose to postpone the reveals. Don't get me wrong, it's a very satisfying episode with a great pace and a lot of excitement. I just feel like that the show overdid itself a bit. I would have had the patience to see a little more sitcom and have a little more questions raised. If this would have been episode 7 or 8 or something, I think I would have cried a little actually. Not only because it gives satisfying answers, but also because the tragedy of the situation is really clear now, and really heartbreaking actually. The show is even going into some horror. I will elaborate on it more in the spoiler section, but the trauma of Wanda is really getting to her in this episode, and you feel it. It really feels like she is ultimately going to be the villain. I won't be surprised if in the Multiverse of Madness movie she's given the role of antagonist, but I'm not sure if that is the plan or that there is another villain lining up already. I don't know. Of course, it's possible that she's a villain next to another. This episode is so good in its suspense, raising the stakes, giving satisfying answers, that it almost feels bad it's placed here in the season. It's kind of a mid-season finale, but for a smaller TV show like WandaVision, it almost feels like part of the finale. That is why I would have preferred it playing out later in the season. It would have harkened back to some earlier moments that would have been released in episode weeks ago. Now it's just all so fresh, you know? It's a bit of a bummer. This episode feels like someone giving you a present but with the wrapping paper already removed. It's just satisfying and great to get that gift, but you just want to take a little more time opening it up. Okay, now for some spoilers. This is the most spoiler-heavy chapter so far, so if you haven't seen it, you have been warned. Spoilers, 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 spoilers. The episode opens up with Monica Rambeau blipping. Blipping! This was my favorite scene in the whole episode, because there wasn't any hint that we would get another blip scene. At least I didn't know. And with the blip, of course, I mean the return of all the people on Earth who disappeared after Thanos' snap. You know what? I've got a pitch for Marvel Studios right here, right now. Make an anthology show about individual stories around the snap and the blip. It's so entertaining. It's so entertaining and sometimes very emotional that characters skipped a few years, warping back in chaos and confusion. It's great. Let's talk about all the reveals, because wow. Westview, which doesn't exist apparently, even though the sign says Westview, it's kind of a missing village. It's confusing, but an interesting one. Wanda being in complete control is confirmed. I didn't expect this really. I thought she could manage parts of it, but that someone else was pulling the strings. But no, there isn't. At least that is the conclusion we can now hold on to. Still, there is someone censoring this, leaving parts out that Wanda is experiencing in this reality, but the characters on the outside can't see. It's like there's literally someone cutting parts out by hand. Or it's an AI algorithm that can detect when this reality is challenged, so it's skipped automatically. It's intriguing to me that the SWORD organization, by the way, is also busy with doing AI. We could find ourselves in a double cross reveal kind of situation here, because maybe SWORD is also making sure some things won't be revealed. And now that I think about it, my theory from last week could still partially be true. Again, you can check it out if you want. Can we say something about how meta this show is becoming? I mean, characters like Darcy and Jimmy Woo are watching the previous 3 episodes with a bag of chips. And the characters from the Westview village are literally just mentioned, including which character they play. So the actors play roles who play roles. It's crazy when you think about it. I love that the show balances a goofy concept like this, puts it in a big mysterious investigation, still balancing nice humor and horror elements, all the while giving homages to famous comedy shows. All of this stuff is coming together really, really great. And I must say, goosebumps when the trauma of Wanda gets back at her in the form of a quick vision. Here comes the wordplay again. A quick vision about Vision where she sees the face of a dead Vision. That must be her biggest visual nightmare right now. It would have been mine if I were in her shoes. That's just... So, I'm thinking of wrapping this up. WandaVision is so far a great thought through story, but I kind of feel bad that we got all this intel on the story right away, right now. We're not even halfway through, but it does make me excited about what's going to happen next. If you like these kinds of videos, next week we will continue with WandaVision, of course, as well as cover Flora and Ulysses next month, as well as some commentary on the new star category, and I will cover Falcon and the Winter Soldier, of course, all that stuff. Remember to leave a like and subscribe if you're into some of that. For now, have a wonderful day and see ya!